I really just don't like politicians who rile people up unnecessarily.
Those people are putting us all at risk.
We got enough going on. Nerves are raw. I don't see the need for it.
They are putting at risk their own kids, and they're putting at risk our kids as well.
You know, I am all for civil debate. I'm all for hardened debate.
For anybody who thinks you're looking at Doogie Howser in real time, this guy is Seamus O'Hagan. Seamus O'Regan? Seamus or something out of Newfoundland, Canada. And if you thought he was not talking about Justin Trudeau, if you thought he was talking about Justin Trudeau, he wasn't. This guy's a liberal. I'm going to test my audio in a second, but let's just finish with Seamus making us all understand just how disgusting the Liberal Party really is.
I'm all for disagreement. I got no problem with any of that. I don't like riling people up for the sake of riling people up.
Puis on en connaît tous des gens qui sont en train d'hésiter un petit peu. On va continuer d'essayer de les convaincre. Mais il y a aussi des gens qui sont farouchement opposés à la...
On va essayer de les convaincre. We're going to try to convince them. And if they don't learn, those idiots, well, then we're going to, on va les couper petit à petit. We're going to cut them off.
Vaccination.
Ils sont extrémistes.
Ils sont extrémistes.
I don't like making people more anxious than they need to be.
Qui croient pas dans la science, qui sont souvent misogynes, puis souvent racistes aussi. C'est un petit groupe, mais qui prend de la place.
I think it's well documented that I went through a period of depression and anxiety in my life. It is not easy.
Oh, by the way, classic, I'm a victim. Oh, feel bad for me. This isn't about me, but let me make it about me and what a poor victim I am. Oh, I think it's well documented. I went through some depression and anxiety. And so what did I do? I support someone who tyrannized an entire country for 3 years. Oh.
And I think it is unforgivable.
Unforgivable.
Frankly, to rile people up even more than they need to be right now. There's enough going on in the world.
He's not talking about Justin Trudeau.
Et là, il faut faire un choix.
Est-ce qu'on tolère? Est-ce qu'on tolère?
Est-ce qu'on
tolère ces gens-là?
They're wrong. And more than just being wrong, they are putting at risk their own kids.
And they're putting at risk our kids as well. Those people are putting us all at risk. Those people. Oh, yeah, clap. Bunch of clapping
just
buffoons.
Don't like politicians who rile people up unnecessarily. I really just don't.
All right. Sorry about the lighting. Is the audio decent? Forget the video. You're going to deal with this ugly, glistening forehead because I went for a jog. We're down in the Keys. I went for a jog, and it's so flipping hot and humid. I cannot satiate my desire to drink water. It's okay. So decent, you say? Lulu dogs. All right. Holy cows. Hold on. What was that? Bathroom or basement sound? Bathroom or basement sound. We're gonna have to live with it. I'm in the corner of a room. This is a wall. I'm next to the window lighting, so it's decent. Okay. Oh, stop. Oh, hold on, Stefan. Yeah, so everybody knows. We've got what to talk about tonight. I go away for 2 nights. I'm down here in the Keys. I got my 3 kids, my daughter's 2 best friends, and we've been living it up. Holy cows. Now I know what it feels like to have 5 kids. I'm the youngest of 5 kids, and mealtime becomes like cutting a pound of flesh nearest the heart. Holy cows. I grew up the youngest of 5 kids. I now understand why we very rarely went out for dinner. It sounds like I'm talking through a tube. What could I do? Let me just see if there's audio. Let me see if I can't reduce the mic background noise. Is that better, people? Let's just try this. I just hit a button. Let me know if that sounds better. Does that sound better? Diva, stop feeding the fish with the kids. Oh, by the way, stick around when we go over to Rumble afterwards, because the video that I'm going to use to play us out tonight, it's the best video in the history of humankind, if I dare say so myself. Not any better, so I'm going to go remove that. Oh, someone says yes, no change. All right, I got yes. Okay, fine. So I'm going to leave it like this. Audio's not going to be good tonight. We're going to live with it. Okay, I go away for 2 nights. What happens? Trump's hat trick of an indictment. Oh, and if you listen to Mehdi Hassan, it's a detailed, thorough, thoughtful indictment what's the word? Detailed in its factual allegations that show what a menace to society Donald Trump is. And if you listen to the same hack, schlock, lying propagandists, the testimony of Devin Archer, a nothing burger. Devin Archer comes up and says, oh, Joe Biden, when he said he never discussed his business dealings with his son, what he meant was he was never in business with his son, which is also a lie. Oh, but he was in, they were doing things. Well, he was only peddling influence. He wasn't actually doing anything business-wise. Yeah, that's what pay to play is called. All you're doing is peddling influence. Oh, so that happens. We're going to go through that indictment because it's a load of steaming Scheiße, to swear in German. Then the rumors, when I tell you that I know things that I don't disclose because they're either not unsubstantiated rumor, they are as of yet unconfirmed rumor, and I'm not a reporter, I'm not a journalist that breaks stories. People talk, and if anybody thinks that people don't talk, I've got a bridge to sell you. Everybody knew that Trudeau's marriage was a sham of a marriage. If it was ever sincere, if it was ever a loving relationship, it has been years since it has not been that, and it has been for pure political show, maintaining an image, a la House of Cards. Well, today, the announcement that confirms what everybody within the orbit of politics already knew, Justin and Sophie Gregoire, is her name Sophie Gregoire? I think it's Sophie Gregoire, are splitting up. Another story, trophy wife. Can you imagine being married to Justin Trudeau? I mean, you all know it's a bizarre thing. I attribute a lot to olfactory senses. I imagine Justin Trudeau smells bad, and not like bad, like rotting, garbage. Like bad as in there's some people, they will wear the same deodorant that I will wear, or they'll wear the same Fahrenheit cologne that another person I know wears, and it will smell bad on them. They will have an aura, they will exude nastiness in the smell that they put out to the world. I think Justin Trudeau smells bad, or at the very least, I would think that he smells bad. It's a bizarre thing. But can you imagine being married to that loathsome creature for 18 years? Some people jokingly observing, yeah, she put in her time for 18 years, and now he went from, I think his net worth of $400 million is not accurate. Call me whatever you want. I don't think those net worth things, at least as relates to Justin Trudeau, are accurate. But I have no doubt he's worth far more now than he was as a drama teacher. Maybe. I mean, the family had a lot of money. They're separating. Whether or not this is one of the rumors, another thing that people in the milieu, one of the best kept secrets. He's lived a rambunctious lifestyle. A rambunctious lifestyle that can be described as a two-way street, so to speak, as in going both ways. Some people hypothesize. The funny thing is I put out a video, I put out a picture, I tweeted out, I was like, what's up with Justin Trudeau's forehead? And now there's rumors that, if you had noticed, I'll see if I can pull up the picture, a recent picture of Justin Trudeau where he looks like Satan himself. He's got a bizarre mark on his forehead. Rumors are that might have, rumors. Okay. So that's one thing. And then, coming out of Canada as well, Google Meta are going to block news links out of Canada. And I want everybody to understand just how bad that really is for Canada. It's a happy accident for the government, but it's very bad. For those who don't know, the interview that I did with PragerU dropped today. And we shot the interview in May, I think, June, and they do like some serious, beautiful editing and put together a whole production. They dropped that interview in which I talk about whether or not Canada is a free society on the same day. They didn't publish it after Trudeau broke the news. They published it before, but on the same day that Trudeau announces his divorce. But also on the same day, or at least the day after, it's announced that Google and Meta will be pulling news links, blocking news links out of Canada. That's what we're going to start with. Now, for those who don't know how this works, Red Viking, that it looks like a Denmark Kroninger, if I'm not mistaken. Super sticker. Dude, I love your beard. Okay, that's beautiful. Thank you very much. YouTube takes 30% of those beautiful things called super chats. If you want to support the channel, support what I do, the best way is on vivabarneslaw.locals.com, where we are simultaneously streaming right now. We got 262 people watching in locals. Let me give you the link here. Link to locals. You can go to vivabarneslaw.locals.com, be a member. Our member, it's non-paying members. You get access to virtually everything, but not everything because some stuff is behind a paywall for our supporters. But we're up to like 116,000 members in our locals community. Everyone is above average there. And if everybody had been in that community, you would know how to digest Trump's third indictment, the thrice indictment. You can support us there. But we're also simultaneously streaming on Rumble. Rumble has these things called Rumble grants. Rumble ordinarily takes 20% of those, but for the rest of the year, they are taking 0%. So 100% of it goes to the creator. It's going to come out that he's gay. I said this, by the way. I'm going to show you my tweet. Thank you very much for that Rumble rant. So for the rest of the year, Rumble takes 0% of their Rumble rants. Ordinarily, they take 20%. It's better to support Rumble as a free speech platform, which it is. And I talked about that during my interview on PragerU. We're going to go over to Rumble after we talk about our first story, which is the news out of Canada that Google and Meta are going to be blocking news out of Canada. The link to Rumble is there. And that's it. What else have I forgotten? No medical advice, no election fortification advice, no legal advice, above all else. And everybody who you DM me for legal advice, don't trust anybody who gives legal advice on the internet. All right. First story of the day. Oh, my goodness. Wait for the play out video at the end of this. So the news of the day. Here we go. Bring it up. CNET. What does CNET stand for? I forget what it stands for. Like, I don't know. Cybernet. Facebook now blocking news in Canada, and Google may follow. What to do? What a fortuitous accident this is for the government, and I'll explain to you why afterwards. In response to the Canadian Online News Act, also dubbed the Link Tax, which aims to compensate publishers, both Meta and Google are instead looking to block news entirely. I'm not sure I like the framing of this article here because it sounds like they're blaming Meta and Google. And it's also sort of framing the law as compensating publishers. The law, I'm going to swear tonight, and I haven't even started drinking. I'm joking. I'm not joking about I haven't started drinking, but I'm not like that, but I am going to have a drink. It frames the law as though the law is intended to compensate publishers. What the law would also do, inexplicably so, and I thought I misunderstood the law, but I DM'd people whose opinions I trust, but who wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable about coming on the channel. Politics ruins everything. The law, dubbed the Link Tax, was not just a law intended to compensate the original source if the engine churned up and provided the search result without linking directly through to the original source. The Link Tax would also require Google and Meta to compensate, to negotiate a link tax, a fee, even if they've just provided the link as an intermediary search engine or platform. Someone posts a link on Facebook, you go to Facebook and you click on the link and it brings you to the article itself. They wanted to force Facebook to charge, to pay to the news outlet money, some of that sweet money. It makes no sense because if you're providing a bridge, traffic to the original source, you're not depriving the original source of any ad revenue that it could generate from the traffic. Where you would be depriving the original source of traffic is if you displayed the article, substantial portions of it, in on a link that was not a link to the original source. So the original source is not getting the traffic. They don't get the ad revenue. They don't get to generate advertising on their platform because they're being denied the traffic. That's not what the link tax was going to do. It was just going to make Google pay just for, hey, search result. Hey, I want to Google an article in the CBC. Oh, here it is. Click to it, brings you to CBC. Google should pay the CBC. It made no sense. And it makes no sense. And even people whose opinions I trust confirmed it makes no sense. Meta, parent company to Facebook, is beginning the process of blocking news in Canada. The company said in a blog post Tuesday. When was this from? This is from August 1st. This is from today. Google also aims to block links to Canadian journalism later this year for people in Canada in response to a new law that forces technology companies to compensate publishers for linking articles. Makes no sense. The legislation is based on incorrect premise that Meta benefits unfairly from news content shared on our platform when the reverse is true, Meta said in the blog post. My goodness, I find myself agreeing with Zuckerberg. When you find yourself on the side of the majority, it's time to take a step back and reflect. I'm joking. They're right, because they're actually facilitating discovery. They're not denying traffic. News outlets voluntarily share content on Facebook, and Instagram to expand their audience and help their bottom line. In contrast, we know that people using our platforms don't come to us for news. Yes. With Australia passing a similar measure in 2021, more countries are looking toward compensatory legislation as news outlets continue to lay off journalists in record numbers. That's all that this is. It's just an indirect way to subsidize journalism, and not the wrong think type journalism, the mainstream legacy media type journalism, when the government can't do it directly any longer. In Canada, the government directly subsidizes CBC Radio-Canada to the tune of $1.2 billion a year. They indirectly subsidize digital media with government ads, COVID ads. They directly subsidize print media with $600 million bailouts. They can't find ways to siphon money to these flailing entities. What better way now? Link tax to preserve Canadian content and to help journalists. Make Google pay these people because the government can't find any more surreptitious ways of doing it. We can go through this. While Google Meta argued the online platforms help lift websites with increased traffic and revenue, they're right. Others argue the opposite. Critics such as the News Media Alliance, I'd love to know who funds that. I know nothing about it, but I know what bets I would make knowing nothing about it. They say big tech used work from journalistic outlets to scrape reporting and data to fill their platforms for resultant content. It then uses the outsized power in directing traffic to abruptly change how many clicks websites get, all the while still using reporting from outlets, yada, yada, yada. Okay. As we face potential standoff between lawmakers and journalists on one side and the gatekeepers of the internet on the other, here's what you need to know about the Canada Online and how it might. The Online News Act goes into effect 2023, compels Google and Meta to compensate news outlets. Fine. Previously, newspapers relied on subscriptions, advertising, classified sections to keep their newsrooms operational. But with the move to the information online, subscription revenue dried up. Oh, maybe you're just providing shit. Like, has that occurred to you? People have no problem willingly supporting the platforms that do the good work. Oh, your subscription revenue dried up? Maybe it's because you no longer have a monopoly and the work that you're producing in a market of competition sucks. Just think about that. Oh, why are people unsubscribing and not following CBC? And why are they not buying the National Post? Oh. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, fine. Between 2008, 450 outlets closed. Does this impact people in other countries? Right now, Google and Facebook's restrictions will affect only Canadians later this year when the law goes into effect. This means that Americans wanting to read up about news in Canada should still find the news results from Canadian publications in search. Oh. Only shutting off Canada. It's amazing. Canada's the first. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay. How to find news without Google or Facebook. Listen to this, people. For Canadians wanting to stay up to date on news later this year, here are some ways you can find the news. World news. The new law affects only Canadian publishers, so searching for news topics will, okay, for non-Canadian. Bing, okay? Canadian news sites and social media. Oh, you can go to Canadian news sites directly and consider setting a Canadian news website like the CBC, Global News, as your default homepage on the web. We're going to stop it there and we're going to end it there and then go to my insights. What can you do? Oh, well, you can go to the legacy media who's the only name that you know. CBC News, Global. Let me think of another one. Global, National Post, Toronto Star, names that you know only because they've been around for 50 years. Are you going to set True North as your default? Are you going to set Viva Frei as your Are you going to set Timcast? Well, Timcast would be. Oh, look at that. Here's how you can figure it out. Here's how you can fix the problem. Just go set up the already government-subsidized propagandist Pravda as your default. That'll solve your problem. Oh, that's exactly what the government wanted you to do in the first place. Quelle surprise, as we say in French. Oh, here's what you could do. Go to the government propagandist website and make it your default. And by the way, you'll never find the other ones that you would never otherwise have heard of because they can't share the links on Google anymore. Nobody ain't going to be sharing Viva Frei stuff to Canadians on Facebook or Google. And that is exactly what they wanted. Let me just pull up my prescient observation. And people have to understand this. This was always intended to be the win-win for the government. If Google and Meta did not pull the links, they would be compelled to finance linking to search results. People may have forgotten about the Online Streaming Act, which was intended to prioritize Canadian content in search results. Does everybody remember that law that already passed? The Online Streaming Act. which was going to and will, once the CRTC draws up its own directives as to how it's going to apply the law that the government just passed, it's going to prioritize Canadian content in search results. Had Google and Meta said, okay, we'll pay the link tax, they would have been paying the link tax to the outlets whose search results are going to be prioritized in search engines as a result of the Online Streaming Act. Who's that going to be? CBC, Global News, Radio-Canada, and other Canadian Pravda. If they pull the links, what are people going to do now? They're not going to know to look up alternative media. They're just going to go straight. They're going to go directly to the source. Win-win. You either get Google and Meta to finance in another way Global News, CBC, Radio-Canada, and whatever, or you get Google saying, no, we're not doing it, and now nobody can find the alternative media. What a happy set of coincidences. Even the worst case scenario of the big bad tech companies pulling out is going to have on Canadians. Good for the government, bad for the people. Okay. Is that it? I think that's all. Oh, do we want to whet the appetite? Do we want to whet the appetite for what's going to happen on Rumble? Now, you know what? Let's do it right now. 826 people watching on YouTube. How many do we have on Rumble? Hold on, I can't see the number. It's all blurry. Hey, 2,647 on Rumble. Let's make that number 3,400 after everybody moves over. Here's the link to Rumble. And by the way, everybody, if anybody has any constructive feedback on user interface, et cetera, tweet at me if you can find me on Twitter, and I'll bring it up to the big guy. I'm joking. I'm talking about Chris Pavlovsky, but Rumble is always, they take these things seriously. You can use me not as a middleman, not as a whatever. I was going to say one thing. Oh yes, and for those who say you get notifications late on Rumble, the big guy wants me to remind you the best way to avoid that. Download the app and turn on notifications, and you'll get them in real time and not uselessly late if you want to attend the live streams. So let's get ready to Rumble, people. Here's the link one more time. Come on over. Yeah, Rumble much better. I'm biased. I'm exclusive, and I'm not biased because I'm exclusive. I'm exclusive because I love Rumble, and I got to know them. They are trustworthy. Chris Pavlovsky, like I said in my PragerU interview, is a fighter. And he's not bending over to these tyrannical tyrants. So let's do that. I'm going to end it on YouTube. We're going to go over to Rumble, talk the indictment, go over the indictment, talk Justin Trudeau and the news of the day and my theorizing of the day. And then we're going to go over to locals afterwards, have a little locals after party. And that's it. Come on over to Rumble. Booyah. I see now we're down to 710 people. That's the way I like it. Okay. Ending in 3, 2. Oh, yeah. And you're going to see the best video in the history of humankind.